Sophie Cunningham's response to all this, in terms of her tweets, like, if you guys didn't see Sophie Cunningham's retweets, Sophie Cunningham obviously responded with the shrug Instagram post, but has responded to the petition by just retweeting a freaking post about her jersey being sold out. That is a response. That is quote tweeting the petition. Like, that is the best way of going about it.
They actually started a petition to ban Sophie Cunningham, treating her like she was some kind of Marvel supervillain. And her response? Let's just say it wasn't an apology tour. It was a full-blown highlight reel loaded with extra attitude. If anyone thought she was going to apologize or back down, they were dead wrong. Sophie showed up with receipts, swagger, and a mic drop so loud it echoed across the entire WNBA. This wasn't damage control. This was diva-level domination. Buckle up, because Sophie Cunningham just turned cancel culture into pure comedy gold, and what came next shocked everyone.
All-Star break in Indiana, and I'm like, man, Dejanay Carrington needs to work her way back into the starting lineup for the worst team in the WNBA before she even thinks about being an All-Star this year. But yeah, it is hilarious. It is absolutely.
She saw the petition, laughed in the middle of a workout, and retweeted it like it was fan mail. Because Sophie Cunningham isn't just unbothered anymore. She's thriving off the chaos like it's part of her pre-game routine. They tried to cast her as the villain in an overhyped basketball soap opera, and she leaned into it with a kind of energy that screams, "Oh, you wanted my attention?" This wasn't a redemption story. This was full-scale retaliation, served with confidence, sarcasm, and just enough flair to make it unforgettable.
I need to talk about this right here. So yesterday's game was obviously funny. Yesterday's game was obviously crazy. But have you guys not seen the petition? The petition, lads. So if you guys didn't see, obviously, there is the Dallas Wings fan page. Take the All-Star game out of Indiana. I'm serious. This is about player safety. Dude, don't worry. Neither JC or Marina's making the All-Star team. Players will be safe. The only player on the Dallas Wings that's going to make the All-Star team is...
And that tweet. Oh, she didn't just retweet it. She crowned it like a royal decree straight from the Queen of Petty herself. It was the digital equivalent of cracking her knuckles and calmly saying, "All right, let's do this." Anyone who thought public outrage would make her fold clearly doesn't know Sophie Cunningham. She doesn't shrink under pressure. She fires back with rhythm, intensity, and a perfectly timed side-eye that says more than words ever could.
Now everybody knows who Sophie Cunningham is. Everybody wants a piece of Sophie Cunningham. Her jersey is the #1 selling jersey in the WNBA. Sold out. Now, why is that significant? I'll tell you. Because her jersey surpassed the all-time woman, Caitlin Clark. The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, got her jersey surpassed by Sophie Cunningham. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham stood up for
The petition itself was a masterpiece of pearl-clutching hysteria. Fans yelling for bans like it was some dystopian version of American Idol, where instead of singing badly, you get canceled for existing with too much confidence. But Sophie isn't dirty. She's reactive. There's a difference between chaos and consequences. And what people conveniently ignore is that when she gets physical, it's almost always because someone else crossed the line first. She's not throwing the first punch. She's simply returning the energy with interest and a little extra spice on top.
So I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm just saying. Sophie Cunningham stood on business. So all these damn petitions and all these little stupid things they're trying to do, these little freaking fines, we don't care about none of that. Now, just like Rachel said, your boy John Liquidator, I'm not condoning any violence whatsoever. But what I can tell you is that Sophie Cunningham stood on business and did the human thing to do.
When it comes to her teammates, Sophie goes full medieval. You breathe the wrong way toward her squad, and she's charging like a human freight train fueled by loyalty and pure fury. This isn't about fouls, it's about family. The league can argue rules all day, but when someone targets her people, Sophie isn't debating. She's making a statement. And suddenly, out of nowhere, Sophie Cunningham has become one of the WNBA's most unexpected fan favorites. Not for the fever dream crowd clinging to Caitlin Clark like she's a one-woman revolution, but for everyone else. Sophie is the anti-hero nobody saw coming. She has the aggression of a linebacker, the social media instincts of a meme lord, and the emotional range of someone who's had enough. It's a Cinderella story, except Cinderella is wearing sneakers, body-checking defenders, and calling out hypocrisy mid-game. They tried to silence her, and instead she became a headline machine with a highlight reel full of revenge. Not out of bitterness, but because she was done watching the narrative pile up while her teammate Caitlin kept getting thrown to the wolves. Every move overanalyzed, every bump turned into a conspiracy.
Now everybody knows who Sophie Cunningham is. Everybody wants a piece of Sophie Cunningham. Her jersey is the #1 selling jersey in the WNBA. Sold out. Now, why is that significant? I'll tell you. Because her jersey surpassed the all-time woman, Caitlin Clark. The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, got her jersey surpassed by Sophie Cunningham. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham stood up for Caitlin Clark.
The double standards were practically dripping from the arena lights. When Fever players get physical, passionate, gritty, locked in, it's just called basketball. But when Sophie raises an eyebrow or clears space with her shoulder, suddenly it's a felony. A crisis. A petition-worthy event. Someone explain how Sheldon lowering her shoulder straight into Sophie was labeled competitive spirit, but Sophie's response was treated like a war crime on social media. Is it selective vision, or just bad acting? Because, let's be honest, this wasn't light contact. Sheldon charged in like she was trying to bulldoze a brick wall with her torso. That shoulder wasn't lowered, it was weaponized. Sophie absorbed the hit, blinked once, and responded the way any self-respecting enforcer would, with an emotional sledgehammer. Because if you test her balance, don't cry foul when she resets the scale. That's not aggression. That's calibration. And here's the real truth. Sophie never wanted to be the league's rebel sweetheart. She wanted consistency, fairness, a rulebook that applies to everyone equally instead of being rewritten nightly based on jersey color and Twitter moods. But the moment she realized the bullies weren't going anywhere, she decided to swing back, and not just on the court.
Guess whose jersey sold out today? The one and only Sophie Cunningham, aka the enforcer and Caitlin Clark's bodyguard. Sophie Cunningham defended the face of basketball, and America was in love. I've honestly never seen so many people agree on one thing on Twitter, and they did last night. And also realizing that you wouldn't want to fight Sophie Cunningham after seeing this head.
Off the court, she's been roasting critics with the precision of a stand-up comic on a vengeance tour. The retweet was only the opening act. Now her social media feed is a carefully curated museum of shade. Clapbacks? She's got an entire gallery. Eye roll emojis? She's Picasso. This isn't just a timeline. It's a mood board for anyone who's ever been labeled the villain for refusing to be quiet. And it's working. The fans flipped the script overnight. Suddenly people are rocking her jersey, remixing her plays into TikToks, defending her like she's the last line of defense for basketball integrity. She's not just a player anymore, she's a vibe. The kind of athlete who doesn't need a PR team because she is the backlash. She's dragging double standards into the spotlight and dunking on them emotionally, receipts in hand. Meanwhile, the haters are spiraling. They don't know what to do with a woman who refuses to wilt. The louder they scream, the louder the cheers get. Every retaliation clip gets reposted like a trailer for Atomic Blonde 2. Every game turns into a showdown between people rooting for fairness and people still clutching pearls because someone dared to play defense with passion.
I am sorry, bro. That was honorable what she had done for Caitlin, bro. What did Rachel Dementa say? What did Rachel say about this?
If the refs are not going to do their job, the players are going to have to be the enforcers themselves. This game was chippy from the beginning, and the refs did not do their job. JC Shell.
Sophie isn't out here throwing elbows for fun. She's protecting her people. When Caitlin was taking hits, who spoke up? Who stepped in? Sophie. She saw the whispers, the cheap shots, the subtle fouls no one wanted to call, and said, "Not on my watch." And yeah, maybe it got physical. Maybe she sent a message, but that message was crystal clear. You can push us, but we push back harder. And somewhere in the middle of all this chaos, Sophie became the WNBA's newest symbol of unapologetic power. Not because she asked for it, but because she earned it on the court, in the chaos, with every shoulder check and every perfectly timed tweet. She didn't start the fire, but she learned how to cook with it. And what the critics don't understand is simple. You can't cancel someone who's already embraced their villain arc. Sophie leaned into it. She made it stylish. And now the same people who wanted her gone have to watch her rise, not just as a player, but as a phenomenon. So go ahead, pull up the petition. Watch the signatures roll in like digital tears. Because the more they protest, the more power she collects. She's not surviving the noise. She's conducting it. And if you think this is the end, think again. Sophie is just getting started.
I don't understand how she ain't got 1 million followers or more by now. I've never really had an opinion on NBA or WNBA because I've just never cared to watch it. It's always been boring. Since Caitlin Clark, it has been interesting to watch. And now Sophie Cunningham, she don't play about her teammate. These girls, this combo makes it so worth watching. I heard she's a black belt too. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? You go, girl. Everybody go follow Sophie. Maybe one day I'll get to...
And just when the smoke from the petition bonfire started to clear, here came the main event. Sheldon charging at Sophie like a linebacker chasing a late-night snack, only for Sophie to master the ancient art of momentum judo. No flop. Put some respect on it. She strategically absorbed that overcooked shoulder like a seasoned chaos connoisseur. She saw the runaway train and thought, let's make this cinematic. Boom. Down she goes. Controlled demolition. Graceful. Iconic. Basketball's version of a trust ball with zero trust involved. And somehow, despite replays showing Sophie's rib cage getting rebranded by a driving shoulder, the refs stood there blinking like deer who just realized the headlights were the rulebook they forgot to read. Because if common sense had been present, whistles would have sounded like a marching band on caffeine. Instead, silence. A full silent film from the officiating crew.